Hello, comrades! Ushanka Show is back in the YouTube house. Let's learn something new about life in the Soviet Union. Здравствуйте, дорогие товарищи! В эфире программа Ushanka Show. So about a week ago, I posted this photo on Ushanka Show community page asking if people can recognize any items on display. We got about 73 comments as replies. A lot of people were just goofing around, practicing their in Soviet Russia jokes, but today we're gonna go through this photo and make a long and boring video. Of course, that's a joke, trying to learn together about Soviet retail. So let's start with the background of this photo. It was taken in August of 1959 in Kazakhstan, Soviet Socialist Republic, in Savkhoz Krasnodonsky. So that's a Soviet, it's not a collective farm, it's just a Soviet agriculture farm. So this is so-called Selmag, a village store. I'm not 100% sure, but most likely it's a staged photo, постановочная фотография, most likely done for the local newspaper report or something. And I'm thinking it's a staged photo because of the items that they put right on the counter. So the items placed right on the counter from the left, we have two cans. On the top is the мясо тушеное говядина. So it's a cooked beef in a can. Below that, it's a cooked pork. So it's something like, Spam style meats. And then we have a jar of tomato juice on the top and some kind of other juice below it. It's covered by boxes of tea. So big box and a tiny square box on the top, it's tea. And then we have 3 large boxes of vermicelli. So it's kind of like a spaghetti. I never seen those like that in the boxes. So, but it's 1950s. Then on the top, there's a box laying sideways, say sol, so it's salt. Below, we have quite a few boxes of match boxes, and several packs of cigarettes, Belamor Canal. And those, no one in their right mind will put right on the counter like that because it's too easy to steal. And here's how Belamor Canal papyrosi looked in color. By the way, if you're interested in the topic of smoking in the Soviet Union, I already have a video called Tobacco Smoking in the USSR, and I'll provide the link in the comment section. And not many of my videos managed to cross 100,000 views, and smoking in the Soviet Union was one of those. So far it has about 143,000 views. Regardless if this photo was staged or not, I just want to compliment the people because they did a good job to make shelves appear full. I've seen pictures way worse than that, like this photo. So we have 3 продавщицы, sales ladies. The one on the right is holding it's not a brick, it's a piece of bread. I'll show you in a second. The lady in the middle has a scooper holding, looks like probably candy. And the lady on the left just smiling. Behind them, all you see is just bread, and salt on the left, and a couple of cans on the top left. That's it. So this is the color picture of that brick-shaped bread. We used to call it bukhanka or kirpich. And I'm not sure why, but this shaped bread was usually sold in the villages. In the cities, the bread was round shape. And here's the photo I took while visiting my mom in northern Ukraine. And once again, you see that brick-shaped bread. It's already, a piece of it was cut off. You have a sorrel borscht and some salad. That was good food. As I said, I always remember just this bread for sale in our village. Hey, what the heck, might as well do a short lesson of the Russian language. Урок русского языка. Буханка. Буханка. So that's the word we use for the bread shaped like brick. I'm not sure about origins of this word, but that's how it was called. Bukhanka. Fun fact, Soviet-made minivan UAZ 452, because of its shape, was also nicknamed Bukhanka. In Soviet Russia, everything is perfect from the beginning. I apologize, got distracted for a second. Let's go back to our picture. So what's going on in this picture? The guy is actually buying sugar, сахар. He's buying so-called сахар рафинад, and it was sold in cubes. It could be coming in like large bags, and you purchase by kilos or whatever grams, or you buy them prepackaged. In this case, it looks like he's buying 1.5 kilos because you have a 1 kilogram weight on the one side of the scale, and lady is working to make it to 500 grams, which will be the middle of the scale. So he's purchasing 1.5 kilos of сахар рафинад. And here's the example of Soviet-era sugar packaging. So you have a сахар рафинад, so those in cubes, or it's called сахар песок. So if you translate it, it's translated as sugar in a sand form, so loose sugar, normal way, and there'll be 1 kilo packets. And sugar was actually quite pricey, 94 kopecks per kilo. That was a lot of money. So what's the point to have a cubed sugar? It was the old-fashioned way of drinking tea in Russia, is using tea saucers, because tea was so hot that you need to have it on a saucer and you blow on it and you drink it extremely hot. So you put a cube of sugar in your mouth and then you sip the tea, and that way tea becomes sweetened while you drinking it. Some of my viewers were asking why the guy is buying so much cubed sugar, and there could be two answers. One, maybe yes, he was planning to do moonshining, but he needs way more than 1.5 kilos. Most likely sugar was in short supply, so he was taking advantage, like, oh, they're gonna, have a sugar for this shot, so I might as well buy as much as I can. And I don't know how many of you guys noticed, but there's a Bacchus hiding behind the scales, but it's 1959, so of course there was no calculators. And of course I need to say a couple of words about scales. Obviously, it's such a classic of the Soviet retail. It didn't change much over the years. I remember similar scales through the 70s and 80s and going into 90s. Only shape of the tray changed. On the original photo in 1959, it was round shape. Later was like a square shape trays. Okay, now let's talk about what's going on the shelves. Did you notice those, I think the word is elaborate towers, neatly constructed from the cans, from the packets of tea and so on? Sometimes I wonder if that was a part of the training when you go to the trade school to be a salesperson, a продавец, that one of the skills you have to learn is how to build towers from cans or other items you have for sale that you need to make the shelves look full. So in our case, top left shelf is completely filled with one item. This is the canned beef. So we have total of, my goodness, it's 7 on the bottom, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 cans of exactly the same item to make the shelf look full. Similarly, the middle shelf is filled with small packets of tea, with some larger packets of tea on the sides, and in the middle is the decoration. So once again, the whole shelf is only 2 items. And the bottom shelf looks like we have large buckets of tea displayed on the left and some other containers, I'm not sure what it is. Anyways, it's about 2 SKUs as they call it, and that's it on the entire shelf. And we can keep on going. The middle top shelf, once again, have about 20 cans of exactly the same stuff. It's the same can that's on the counter, and there's 2 boxes of tea on the sides for decorations. Once again, the whole shelf filled with single item. So this store has probably up to 40 items for sale total, but because of the skillful Soviet retail presentation, it appears that there's a tons of items you can buy. And remember in the beginning of this video I mentioned that I think this photo is staged, is because I shopped in a similar store in northern Ukraine every time I spent the summer in the village with my grandparents, and our guys in the store didn't bother. So there was actually like meters or feet of empty shelving, and just behind the lady there'll be, couple choices in cigarettes, matches, cans, and that's it. There was no towers. They didn't care about that stuff. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this long and boring analysis of the retail store in the Soviet Union. As always, please don't forget to like, to share, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания. Goodbye. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Раз, два, три, четыре, 5. Вышел зайчик погулять. On Russian we call it счеты.